Hi guys, I'm really excited for today's video because today we're going to be testing out, or I should say I'm going to be testing out a new to me brand, and this is Dominique Cosmetics. I haven't tried anything from Dominique Cosmetics. I have a gloss. I feel like that doesn't really count. What I mean to say is I haven't tried any of her eyeshadow palettes, and it's just because I haven't really been like my kind of palettes, you know? So today we're going to try the Celestial Storm palette, which is the newest palette. This is what it looks like. It's giant. I can't believe how big this is. Like, it's twice the size of the length of my head. Like, I can fit like two of my heads on this space right here. It's so big. So we're gonna slide this out. I wanted to just like show you the packaging because I thought it was really cute, and it just comes out like this. I have yet to open this palette. I don't know what it's going to look like. The packaging itself is really, really pretty. I just can't get over how big this is. Is this the same size as all of her other palettes? Let me know if you have them because this is so big. Let's open it together. I have yet to open it. I hope this didn't come broken or something, but let's see what it looks like. Oh, that's so pretty. Oh, I feel like this is like way more vibrant and jewel toned than I was expecting. I really like this. It does have a mirror on the back as well. Here's what the palette itself looks like. I really like that she has a very dark background. I feel like that makes the shadows pop a lot more. And in general, I wish that more brands had black backgrounds on their palettes because it doesn't compete with like all of the shadows. I am really excited about this. I love how like shiny it is and reflective. That's super fun. So we're gonna go ahead and swatch this. Let me tell you how much this palette was. I swear I always forget to do that, but this palette ended up being $44, and it looks like it's still available on the site. So I don't think that's like a terrible price for the amount of shadow that you get in here. I feel like that's not, I mean, it's not cheap obviously, but it's also not like super expensive. So we're gonna go ahead and try this, of course. I am gonna go ahead and swatch this first so we can see how these swatch. I am just interested in feeling these shadows because I have no idea what to expect. I don't know if her shadows are pigmented, or I really don't know what I'm getting myself into. So I'm gonna go ahead and swatch this real quick. I'm just going to go from left to right, top to bottom, like I always do, and then we're gonna talk about the swatches, and then we're gonna do a look with this, and then I'm just gonna have some fun because this looks like a very fun palette. So let's go ahead and swatch this baby. Alright, so my first impression thoughts on the swatches is that I feel like most of these shimmers are meant to be more kind of toppers because they're kind of sheer. This one in particular is very glittery. This one has a really beautiful kind of duochromy glitter, but it doesn't have much of a base to it. And these two also seem to be a little bit sheer, so I do think I want to try to use those mainly as topper shades on top of something else and not try to like fake a cut crease or anything like that, because I don't think that's going to really work with these. So I'm gonna go ahead and prime my eyes with my Smashbox Lid Primer in Light, and then we're gonna go ahead and try out some of these shadows. I don't know what I want to do today, but I feel like whatever I'm wearing is going to match the look because my hair is kind of going with this palette and my outfit is kind of going with this palette being kind of dark blue. So I feel like whatever I end up doing is going to look pretty cool. So I think I want to do a bit of a smoky eye today because I just want to like layer some of these shadows on top of each other. So I think I'm gonna do probably Astrid Lust. I don't know what that means. I haven't even looked at the shade names in this palette. Okay, so I think I understand all of the other ones, but I don't know what Astrid Lust means, but it's this beautiful magenta shade that's going to match my hair perfectly. So I think I want to use that like all over my lid. So I'm just going to take a flat brush. This is the MAC 242 brush. And I'm just going to go ahead and start by packing that all over my mobile lid here and just see how intense I'm able to build this up. I'll probably use the same shade to kind of blend this into my crease as well. And I think I'm mostly going to focus on trying to get the most out of these shimmers in the palette because they intrigue me more than some of these mattes do. Don't get me wrong, like the mattes look beautiful as well, but I really want to see what I can get out of these shimmers because they look really, really beautiful and unique, and I don't think I have like a lot of these colors in my collection. So I mean, this is packing on really, really nicely, but I don't think it's like the most pigmented magenta that I've ever had, but it does layer nicely and not patchy at all. And like I said, it does match my hair pretty much perfectly, so that's always a plus. I've been in such a matchy mood lately that my friend was even making fun of me the other day because I accidentally matched my suitcase and my handbag, and it looked absolutely ridiculous because it was just like too much, you know? And I don't know, sometimes I'm in a matching mood, other times I'm like, I just want to contrast everything, but I feel like right now I'm definitely in a matching mood where I feel like everything is going to kind of go together. Like I want my earrings to go with my eye look, and I want my eye look to go with my clothes, and other times I just don't really give a shit, but I guess I do right now. So now that I've gotten this packed all over my lid, I'm gonna switch to a bit of a fluffier brush here, and I'm gonna use the Sigma E44. Just gonna take a little bit more of that shadow, just tap it off, and then start really blending this into my crease. And like I said, I don't think that this is as pigmented as, you know, I think it's just because I've been working with a lot of indie brands lately, and indie brands just have the best pigmentation out of everything, and I feel like this is not as intense on the eye as it looks in the pan. It's more of like, not a sheer color, but you know what I mean? Like I feel like it's not showing up as bright as some other shadows that I have that would be this color in the pan. It would just show up more on the eye than it does right now for me. But it does blend out really, really nicely. But I do wish it was maybe just like a little bit more intense, maybe a little bit darker. It's also a little bit patchy, just like right in my crease here, but that could definitely be my fault. So I'm not going to blame the shadow for that since it's only happening on one eye here. I am going to take a little bit more of this shadow. It doesn't have a lot of kick up in the pan, so maybe it's just the kind of shadow that you really need to build up here. So I'm just going to see how intense I'm able to get it, especially in my crease. I don't really care how it looks on my lid because it's not going to be an all matte look, so it's not super important. I just want to see if I'm able to get this to be a little bit more intense here. And I want to see how buildable this formula really is. And I do think that you'll be able to build with this. It's just going to take a little bit of extra time. And I think I've just been a little spoiled lately with the palettes that I've been using because they've been like such pigmented formulas that when I start trying to use something else, I'm like,
why is this not like super pigmented straight off the bat?
And I don't realize that a lot of like the mainstream brands, which I feel like if you're at Sephora, you're a mainstream brand, a lot of those formulas just tend to be more on like the buildable side because I think that's what the general public probably gravitate towards. Correct me if I'm wrong. Having a little bit of fallout, but it seems like it's removing very easily. So I was definitely able to build up the shadow to where I wanted it to be. It just took a little while to build it up. So if I said anything bad about this shadow, I didn't mean it because it did do exactly what I wanted it to do. It just took a little extra time. So I think what I'm gonna do on my lid is I wanna use probably two shadows, and I'm gonna first go into Electric Amethyst, which is the top one that I swatched. I don't have the swatches on my arm or I would show you, but I wiped it off. But this one seemed like it was pretty sheer, so I'm gonna take this and basically just layer it all over my lid here. And I'm just gonna use that same brush that I used to pack on the shadow. And I'm definitely gonna go ahead and spray this because I wanna see how intense I'm able to get this. And I'm just gonna go ahead and place that all over here. Okay, so first impression, just putting it on my lid, it's definitely very sheer. And it's for sure a topper shade. Like this isn't really doing much for me if I'm being completely honest. I'm gonna take my finger, which I never do because I hate using my finger to apply eyeshadow, but I just want to see what the potential of this shadow really is. Like I almost feel like I would have to use glitter glue and my finger to get the shadow to be as popping as I really wanted it to be, because I'm not impressed by this at all. I'm so sorry. I feel like this is extremely lackluster and I really had higher hopes for this. Like I can barely even see that it's on my lid and I'm really packing this on. I mean, that's not really doing anything. Like, can you guys see anything on camera? Because I can barely see that I have this on my eyes, which is a little bit disappointing. I wonder if I'm gonna go in with a little bit of glitter glue just to see if that helps on the other eye. I wouldn't usually do this in a first impression video because most of the time I don't need it. So I am gonna take a little bit of my Too Faced glitter glue here and I'm just going to pack this all over where I want this shadow to be. And just see if I can make this really pop here. I'm just gonna take the same brush straight into the shadow and I'm gonna see how intense this ends up. I mean, it's not even on my lid. What is going on? Okay, let's try the finger again. I mean, I feel like that's even worse. Like, it's not even sticking to my eye this way. So after dipping my finger into the shadow probably like 6 or 7 times. It's on my eye, but it's still just so lackluster. Like I was just expecting more. I really had high hopes for this palette. Plus it was expensive too. I mean, $44 for this shimmer? I don't know, you guys. I mean, even if all of the other shadows in this palette are really nice, I don't know if I could recommend this at all. I mean, I'm gonna try some more shades, so I'm gonna go into Mystic Eyes, which is the teal shade here, and I'm just going to smoke that out underneath my eye and try to get that as intense as I can get it. And I'm just going to take a clean fluffy brush here and just work on blending this out. And again, I don't feel like this color is as intense on the eye as it appears in the pan. And I think what I'm going to do is I want to try to layer the blue shimmer on top of this blue that I put down. So I'm going to take Stargaze and I'm going to go ahead and spray this as well. And just see what happens if I layer that all the way across here. Now see, I feel like that is doing a lot more already than the shade that I tried to layer on my lid is doing. Like it's definitely changing the shadow that is underneath and really adding more sparkle here. It is extremely hard pressed into the pan though, so I have to really dig my brush in there. And I also had to do that with the first shade. So maybe there is like a pressing issue or something where the shadows are just pressed too hard because it's really hard to pick up anything here. So I guess this shade was able to do what I wanted to do on my lower lash line here. So I guess I'll just pop something in my inner corner and see what happens here. So it's going to either be between Solstice or Eternal Light, which is these two right here, if you're able to see that. I think I'm gonna go with this kind of duochromy peachy shade, which is called Solstice. And this shadow is picking up on my brush so much easier than the first two. I'm gonna go ahead and spray this as well. And I'm just gonna pop that in my inner corner here where I don't have any shadow yet. And this is definitely very glittery, but it makes for a really, really nice inner corner shade. Just gonna gently layer that above both the shadow on the lid and the shadow on my lower lash line here. Just to tie everything together. So that shadow was fine as well. It did take a little while to just build it up to be intense enough. So I'm gonna finish up the rest of my eyes and then I'll come back and kind of tell you how I feel about this palette so far. Obviously, I mean, I've only done one look, but I still feel like I have an idea of what the formula is like here. So I'm gonna first take DTLA and put that in my waterline. And then I'm gonna do some liner and mascara. I was gonna say put on lipstick, but I'm already wearing a gloss, so I'll probably just keep wearing this gloss. So let me finish up real quick and then I'll come back and tell you my thoughts on this palette. Alright, so here's the completed look. Now, as for this palette, obviously I know I only use like 5 shades, but I still feel like for a $44 palette that has 12 shades in it, they should all be good, they should all work, and I just wasn't really impressed by this. I don't know if I got a dud. I know that the Lemonade palette didn't get very good reviews, and I feel like a lot of the same things that I feel about this palette was said about that palette as well. But I just feel like the mattes are very sheer, they take a very long time to build up, and the same kind of goes for the shimmers. Also, the ones that I used were very hard pressed, especially these two right here that are supposed to be toppers. This one is a little bit better than this one, but again, it just takes so much to get anything on your brush. Like this is a brush I was using for my lower lash line, and like if I just go like this, I basically get nothing on my brush. Like I had to dig and swirl and swirl and swirl, and if you can see how hard I'm pressing here, like I still barely get anything on my brush, and there's like barely any kick up at all in the pan. So I don't know if there's like a pressing issue with this. I don't really know, but I would not recommend this palette. If you wanted to get something similar, like color story wise, I would instead go with the Kaleidos makeup palettes. These are the Futurism Astro Pink palette. Show you what this one looks like. So basically you have a lot of the same kind of shadows in here. You have some neutrals down here. You have this beautiful kind of magenta shade. You have this topper shade, which is absolutely stunning and so much better than like anything that's in this Chris and Dominique palette. And if you wanted the blues in particular, you could also get the Electro Turquoise palette, which looks like this. This is absolutely stunning as well. It could add some more depth. Both of these palettes are $24 each, so that would be $48. You would get a much better experience, you would get a much better formula, you would get much better packaging. I mean, I don't know. I'll probably going to return this palette if I'm being honest. I'm not impressed. I'm not looking forward to working with this again. Let me know if you got this palette. I hope you found this review helpful. I hope I don't get shit on and that I got a bad palette and a lot of people got a good palette, but I didn't like this palette. I'm sorry. just how it goes sometimes. So yeah, let me know if you got this, let me know how you feel about it, but I'm not impressed. I wouldn't recommend this for anybody. So thank you for watching. If you want to see some other reviews that are a little bit more positive, I'll pop a few up on the screen because I have a lot of them on my channel. And if you're new to my channel, I would love it if you would consider subscribing, and I will see you in my next one.